of the state has, in the laws that they have promulgated, derelicted from their duties by granting excessive discretionary powers to officers and ministries and officials in government. As a result, the oversight function of Parliament has become almost non-existent. The parliamentary standing committee system does not function. They have now constituted themselves in an illegal fashion where the official opposition is left out of the parliamentary standing committee system, and where other parties have been co-opted as subsidiaries of the ruling party. Today, as we speak, only LPM, PDM, and NEF are not part of that system of co-optation in respect of the parliamentary standing committee system. That is the second comment I want to make. The third one is that we as a party with a political wing are very careful to merely load the parliamentary system with a lot of questions and with a lot of ineffective motions for the sake of being seen as doing something important. We have therefore constituted this event, Mr. Delgado, you and the colleagues of yours that will come even in the afternoon, to really pen down the issues that are important so that when we present these matters as motions in Parliament, that they are able to rally everybody behind them because of the substance and the factual exposition that will be contained in those motions, but also to ensure that we are basically in touch with the genuine aspirations and the wishes of the people, and not to engage in pedestrian motion politicking in Parliament. What do I mean? Pedestrian motion politicking in Parliament is when official opposition or any other political party in any other jurisdiction takes something from newspapers as a regular practice and starts to make those as motions without necessarily originating motions on the basis of their ideological and political vision and conviction. And this is the difficulty that we are also seeing in Namibia, a highly pedestrianized, motion-driven parliamentary politics. It's dangerous, because once the newspapers stop reporting things that you like to see as opportunistic issues for parliamentary motioneering, you stop being an effective political party. And so it's important that you understand these issues, that a political party in Parliament cannot merely do street politicking and bring street politicking to a formal setting. Your values, your vision, the aspirations of the people, your manifesto, your constitutional provisions, and your ideological convictions must merge at the same time to deliver sensible, workable, and progressive solutions. We have listened to some of the parties tabling motions in Parliament, and to be honest, sometimes we just hope they would just keep quiet, because the motions don't make sense, the motions are not well articulated, the motions are not scientific in their outlook, the motions are driven in casting blame instead of addressing the concerns of people, and therefore to result in solutions for the people. And we think that motions in Parliament must not be blame games, but resolutions for social issues. And that's the difference that we want to articulate. The fourth comment I want to make is that when you look at the Middle East, when you look at the Balkans, and when you look at the post-colonial African continent, state building has been a big focus of these countries instead of nation building. State building has to do with putting up the institutions of governance, ensuring the military operates, the police operate, the civil servants are hired, that the necessary court system functions, and that therefore you are able to deliver services. But African countries, as well as the Balkans, as well as in some cases the Latin American countries and the Asian countries, have not engaged in nation building. Nation building is much more a deeper issue that wants to drive toward a common identity, a common sense of belonging, a deeper sense of loyalty to the nation state, and not to one's ethnic group. And so, as a result of the process of state building at the expense of nation building, political parties began to push for party autonomy from society as well as for the autonomous state. And you could see here in this country where Swartbooi would threaten people to say it's cold outside Swartbooi, that Swartbooi is the people and the people are Swartbooi, yet the actions are completely different from the communities. That party autonomy became state autonomy. In other words, where the state institutions themselves begin to substitute their being as service agents unto themselves instead of unto the sovereign. And that is why you will have a Minister of Defense fighting the sovereign and saying that whites are the problem, as if the white community are also not part of the national sovereign. And when you look at the failure of nation building, the overemphasis on state building, and therefore the development of an autonomous state that does not represent nor report as it should to the sovereign, you have a problem in which the institution of the sovereign, the parliament, becomes redundant. And part of what we are doing here, essentially, is to reinvent the sovereign institution, which is the parliament of the Republic of Namibia. It's a daunting task. It's not easy. But we stand to see how far we can get. When, after today's deliberations, the motions are prepared and we table them, we still have to face an autonomous Swartbooi party in the institution of the sovereign, which is the parliament. They may reject it because they believe they are autonomous, not subject to the sovereign. You could see the other day they rejected the motion on Zimbabwe because they feel they are autonomous as former liberation movements. So we are going to submit this to the sovereign parliament as contained in the Constitution as an arm of state and see how far we get with these motions. The last point I want to make is, as a party, we are not afraid to obtain views of value from all corners of the country. We are welcoming of ideas and thoughts and views from the people of this country, regardless of political and party orientation, with a view to build a better parliament that genuinely attracts the interests and articulates the aspirations of the people of this country, and they deserve their interest and aspirations to be articulated. So on that note, I welcome all of you, and I declare the workshop officially open